was a gorgeous September day, September 11th, 2001. And I remember people, talking in the hall and saying, airplanes have gone into the Twin Towers and the schools in Philadelphia are closing. You better go home because your kid may be coming home from school, which indeed she was, because we didn't know. We heard Washington was hit. We heard New York was hit. Well, maybe Philadelphia would be the next one. There was still a plane in the air over Pennsylvania, whatever. It was not a good day, but within days after that day, all of a sudden I said, oh, my career as an interfaith educator has just gotten a restart. I do know now what I need to do. I know something about interfaith work. And sure enough, within weeks, I started getting phone calls because I was still known in the world as someone who knew interfaith. And they said, we're having a dialogue, you must come, you'll be the rabbi. And I said, oh, I know how to do that. There'll be a priest, there'll be a minister, and there'll be me. And they were like, no, actually, since September 11th, we've suddenly woken up to the fact that there are Muslims in this country, and even in our city. And actually, the dialogue is going to be, well, the Christians are going to have to share one seat. They're going to have to figure out if there's going to be a priest or a minister, and that seat is going to be with an imam. And then there's going to be you. And I said, I'm all in. That's what I've been waiting for. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm interested in learning about. And then I thought, uh-oh, I don't actually know anything about Muslims. All I know is that they're in trouble right now. And I thought, I got a PhD in religion. I must know something about that religion, Islam. So I went back and I looked in my notes. This is before everything was in digital, and I actually got a folder out, and there was Islam 101, and I went through all the pages, and I went, oh yeah, I did take a course in this. I still don't know anything about Muslims in America today. Who are they? Are they black? Are they brown? Are they white? Where do they come from? What do they care about? How do they practice their faith today? I had taken a course about Islam, but I didn't know anything about what I was doing. So I began a steep learning curve. And I think any of you who've ever had a steep learning curve know how incredibly exciting that is. And I started it sort of beginning of 2002, and I have never stopped because it has been such an amazing, incredible experience to learn from my peers and to take my rabbinical students, because I was teaching rabbinical students at that time, to take them on this journey of learning who their Muslim peers were among emerging religious leaders in the 20th and then 21st century. So it was a very, I don't say a gift to me, that sounds like a silly way to put it, but for me, it has helped me learn so much about what needs to be fixed in my own tradition. And I'll be really honest with you here, because I know you're all good folks, and you know this to be true in your churches, and if you are the Jews here in your synagogues, we non-Muslims have a lot to learn and a lot to unlearn. And I see that in my communities everywhere I go. So for many years now, I've been going to synagogues and I've been talking to them about Muslims in their own communities and who are they. And people are curious, they are fearful, they are in some cases ignorant, in some cases compassionate, and sometimes it's the same person who's all of those things, because the line that runs through those actually runs through everybody's, not everyone, but many people's hearts as well. So I'm going to close up now and stop talking, because I like hearing Aziz talk more than I like hearing myself talk. But some of what I just want to say that I have learned about being a religious person from hanging out with all these Muslims for so long has been really powerful. Learning about the physical ritual acts of getting down on your hands and knees that Kelly just talked about, saying ritually washing before prayer. Many of these things are things that I've taken into my own practice in ways that I say, oh, actually there was a Jewish practice about ritually washing hands, but I never did that because I was a liberal Jew and that was a traditional practice. But seeing it through other people, seeing other people do it sometimes allows you to reimagine the power of it, how embodied ritual, what it does for people. Another thing that I have learned a lot is talking to my Muslim friends about what it means to fast through Ramadan, and some of the deep meanings that they have extracted from the experience of knowing what it means to fast. Now, Jews fast less often, actually. It's coming up on Tuesday night to Wednesday, but when I fast now, I have lots more meaning that I bring to it. And the final thing I'll talk about is Hajj. Something, again, where because I've spent so much time with Muslims, they've talked to me about the power and meaning of going to the sacred place, to Mecca, which they do once in a lifetime if they possibly can. And many of them have described to me what it meant to go there and to make that journey. And understanding journey as a spiritual discipline has brought a whole new meaning to me about what it means to travel to Israel, and also to travel to other places that have become for me ways of thinking about walking toward a deeper understanding of my life and of God.